Hello and welcome to the Gripe TV. I am your host, JP Forte. You know, this government has gone way too far with its wolf-killing policies that it keeps forcing on the general public. And the reason why they keep forcing this through against the will of the general public is because the trophy hunting lobby that they pander to are some good old rootin' tootin', gun-totin', hard-working real Americans. And the rest of us are second-class citizens the way they see it. I mean, it's obvious, especially with the lengths that they've gone to ensure that their wolf-killing policies go ahead as they plan. Take the Northern Rockies, for example. On the federal level, the Senate in Washington, D.C. in 2011 forced through a budget bill rider to strip wolves of Endangered Species Act protections in the Northern Rockies, and the budget bill rider also stripped American citizens of their right to judicially challenge the government on the issue. And they did all that to get around a court ruling in the federal court that wolves were to be kept on the endangered species list in that region. And now we have politicians on certain state levels forcing through wolf-killing policies against the will of citizens and the general public. Once again, to cater to and pander to that little trophy hunting lobby. Because, you know, the trophy hunters just got to be held on that pedestal over everybody else. And Michigan has become an example of that. Now, when wolves were taken off the endangered species list in the state of Michigan a couple of years ago, literally almost overnight, the state legislature there moved forward to push policies to allow wolves to be killed in that state. Some citizens who did not and do not want wolves to be killed in the state of Michigan did a petition drive to get a measure on the ballot that the residents of Michigan could vote on and vote whether or not wolves would be a protected species in that state. Well, the special interests and one particular state legislature, Republican Tom Casperson, didn't like that idea of people being able to vote onto as to whether or not a species, particularly wolves, would be a protected species in that state or not. You know, God forbid that the citizenry should be allowed to vote on the issue. So Tom Casperson pushed legislation to basically override that ballot measure and make it completely worthless. And he came up with all kinds of BS excuses for it too, such as people in his state being influenced by outside groups, and you know, about wolves supposedly ravaging this livestock, which apparently in the state of Michigan, throughout the whole state, there's only one farmer who was complaining about losing livestock to wolves. And in fact, that same farmer got in trouble for, I believe, some kind of animal cruelty charges for serious neglect of his animals. And then, of course, after Casperson's little legislative thing got forced through by all the crooked senators there, then he retracts on all of his excuses when they all came out to be bogus. You know, and then they had, you know, several wolves slaughtered in that state. And then the following year, a group, I believe it's called Keep Michigan Wolves Protected, which did the first petition drive to get a measure on the ballot, did a second one to override Casperson's legislation, so that once again the citizens and residents of the state of Michigan would have a say and be able to vote whether or not wolves would be protected. Well, of course, some sportsman groups didn't like that, so they did a little petition drive of their own. And they also got enough signatures to go before the state Senate to have their idea of legislation once again disenfranchise voters and take away voters' right to vote whether or not wolves should be a protected species in the state of Michigan. And lo and behold, just earlier today, the state senators for the state of Michigan all voted, well, most of them anyway, I believe the majority of them voted to disenfranchise the voters once again and force the wolf killing policies on everyone. You know, what I want to know to all the, you know, one thing I would love to ask for all these idiot senators out there is, why won't you let the people decide on how wildlife is to be handled within their states or even the country? Why is it that the goddamn hunters always have to have their way 100% of the time, all the time, against the will of everyone else? When the hell is there going to be some democracy when it comes to wildlife policy? And when the hell are hunters going to stop being allowed to dictate policy over everyone else? Because quite frankly, a lot of us citizens have become sick of it. Stop forcing policies that nobody wants when it comes to how wildlife is handled. Stop holding the goddamn hunters on a little pedestal like they're above and beyond everyone else. You know something? I think I'm going to be giving the Michigan State Legislatures the title is the world's most horrible people right now. Because they are failing to represent the will of the people. They are failing to do their job, which is to be public servants and do what the people want and uphold what the people want. Instead, they're putting special interests above the rights of voters on this issue. You know what? To all of you residents out there in Michigan who are pissed off about this and want to have a say in how wildlife policies are done in your state and want to be able to vote as to whether or not wolves will be a protected species in your state, for those of you who are sick and tired of these legislatures forcing the wolf killing policies on you, just remember, November is right around the corner. And if you're angry about what these legislatures have done by disenfranchising you and taking away your right to vote on the issue as to whether or not wolves should be protected in the state of Michigan, be sure that this November you vote every single one of those assholes out.